Welcome to a Drop Tent Media production.
The Porcupine with Adam Nutter.
What's up, everybody? I know we're doing a lot of episodes this week. It is what it is. It's fucking scheduling's crazy. Trying to squeeze a bunch of stuff in before the new year and Christmas and all that shit. Thank you, everybody who checked out the Scott Horton yesterday. That's still up there, available everywhere. That was super fucking great. If you guys want to know everything about Ukraine and Russia, go listen to that fucking podcast. I did with Scott. Scott's the man, dude. Of course, you all know that. Scott's great. Again, I have one show left this year before next year. So December 30th, West Collingswood, New Jersey, right over the bridge from Philly, like right over the bridge. I'll be at Rexy's. Coming out, droptent.com/events for tickets. And of course, to get your very own not drop tent, Jesus Christ. Fucking Adam, get it together. I'm so fucking a mess. You get your very own porcupine shirt at droptent.com/events. Oh shit. All my stuff stopped working. Everything just froze. And now nothing's working. And I might have to completely restart this interview because everything just froze on my laptop. God damn it. No. But you can still see me though. Can you? Wild. Fuck. All right. No. Why? Come on. Don't fail me. No, it's going to fail me. Motherfucker. Fuck. I know. I feel like you guys can still see me and I'm recording, but my screen is just white. Like, I know. Damn it. All right. I promise I'm going to restart this. I'm going to resend an intro to my guest. We're going to come back full circle and do this again. So sorry. Fuck. That's what happens when you go live, though. What are you going to fucking do? So restarting, I promise. We'll come back to this. Did this work? No way that worked. Did this work? Fuck. Hold on. Kind of worked, but not really. Because I'm still kind of on the screen, but not. There you go. Wait a minute.
Boom! Yeah, there you go.
Oh, shit. Are we still live? No fucking way that worked.
Timer is still going.
Is it? No way. That's amazing. Sorry, guys. That was fucking... that was the first time that ever happened. No, it totally worked. Hey! Guys, my guest for today, give it up to Torin. He runs the LPMC Philly account pretty much on Twitter. And no, Mark, fucking share it. It worked. I figured it out. It worked. Just share the shit, you fucking assholes. I figured it out. Have faith in me. Roller coaster of a start, but hey, like I said, we're live. This is what happens. So
I guess this is why Mark records his thing several days early. So
yeah, I used to do that, but then we got StreamYard and everything worked great.
Yeah,
up until right now. That's really a StreamYard problem. My laptop was like, "Hey, we're gonna stop working real quick. We're gonna figure that shit out."
Oh yeah.
Like, all right. Cool.
Oh yeah.
Fuck no, but we're good. So, Torin, thank you for coming. Again, you run pretty much the LPMC Philly Twitter account. And obviously we're here to talk about mainly what just happened in Philly. And not just Philly, but like New York, LA first, obviously now Boston, Chicago, which we all knew was going to happen. But all the now Philly vaccine passports and all the not recommendations, Jesus Christ, all the shutdowns already, all the talks of masks again, but just major cities, nowhere else, just the cities. So obviously, please talk about what you guys got going on and what you want to release out there.
Yeah, these seems like the dominoes are falling. Cities are falling one by one, and hopefully hopefully we can stem the tide a little bit, and that's kind of the goal. We want to make some noise. It seems like New York has gotten a little bit rowdier over the past couple of weeks. It seemed like for a while, you wouldn't hear much about New York, like what was going on. You just knew they had the vaccine passport. And, if you're following independent media, there's crazy protests going on overseas.
Mm-hmm.
you don't see much here. But New York's starting to pop up a little bit more, and there's I talked with Mark Pizzacco on his radio show the other day, and this is the red line. You can't separate people out. You can't segregate, discriminate. Based on what for some people and a lot of people are very very well informed medical decisions. There are the crazies out there that might think this has a microchip in it and are getting tracked. And well, I don't know. I guess Alex Jones was proven right the other day when they came out with the microchip they want to track you with for the vaccine passport. So I don't know. But yeah, this is the red line. You can't separate people out by a choice, a medical choice. And um, yeah, it's with the rhetoric coming out of the White House, the rhetoric coming out of the mayor's offices and all these things. It's very much, this is a pandemic of the unvaxxed. The unvaxxed are going to die. I had COVID early on, very early on in the pandemic, and I've had some very serious exposures where everybody but me got sick in recent months, and like, well, I'm
Yeah.
still here. So, uh, and I was listening to one of my favorite guys to listen to is Chris Martinson, and he was talking about the Omicron variant and just how contagious it is, but how it's like 80% less serious in terms of like hospitalizations. And this is what we want. So why are we going backwards in terms of mandates? It just doesn't. Something smells fishy here. Is it money? Is it power? I don't know, but
Yes.
you
To
know,
both of those, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, dude.
What Moderna released their earnings, I think, and it was like $3.4 billion last quarter, and
Mhm.
in profit, and 3 billion was from the vaccines. And they didn't really have to pay for the research in it either. The NIH was paying for the research, so everything that they had to go in and all of their costs were covered. And the government on one hand is yelling at the pharma companies over the opioid crisis. Maybe they'll fine them $1 billion here and there, but then they'll turn around and print 10 billion and hand them off. So
Right.
yeah, this is not a good situation. Any time a group of people for any reason, whether it's your race, sex, gender, religion, whatever, anytime you get demonized and told that you're the problem. I think African Americans can probably relate with being called, disease carriers back in the day. Jews certainly in the 1930s. I know it's an easy comparison to make, but you know, humans are not viral vectors. Humans have an immune system, and you can't really there's not a whole lot you can do about it. You can take precautions, you can get vaccinated, you can not, you can eat healthy, you can get metabolically healthy, but humans aren't, the default isn't being a disease carrier. And you can't treat somebody as a disease carrier just because they didn't get a vaccine. And yeah, there's a lot of vitriol and hatred out there. A lot of people are saying that people like us who are speaking out against mandates should die or will die, and that's not fun. Um, so yeah, we're at a red line here where the government's gotten out of control, the narrative's gotten out of control. It's top to bottom. It's from the White House on down, and we need people, standing up and speaking out. And um, the only way we know how to do it is, kind of take to the streets of Philly and just make our voices heard.
Yeah, so we should only treat Mark Pizzacco that way. By the way, we should exclude him from society. I agree. I just Mark though, for no any other reason, just to get him out. No,
Yeah,
but
he had COVID what like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think, or something like that. And yeah, he's probably still spreading it around. So
yeah, fuck Mark. We should kill him. We should just kill him. We should just kill Mark. But that, I mean, you already hit on a lot of the stuff that, like, they're trying to say about us, or like the unvaccinated. It's like, but it's all not true, right? And like I know I have to be careful what we even say on YouTube because I'll get
Yeah.
fucking pulled. But like we all know for a fact, like, well, it doesn't stop transmission. The vaccine, it doesn't it doesn't they say it's more likely to lessen your symptoms than not, but that's not a guarantee either. It's like
Yeah.
all these and then when you find out like, oh yeah, most of the people getting sick are vaccinated. Oh, most people dying are vaccinated. It's like, oh, weird how that
Yep.
works. It's like
Yep.
it's like you also nailed something else earlier too. When you said a bunch of new outbreaks going around. I've been around a shit ton of people who are fucking double vaxxed. Some have boosters, some don't, and they're like, "Oh, I got corona." I'm like, "Oh, I'm fine." I've been fine for 2+ years actually. Like
Yeah.
I'm fine. Like I'm my parents who are not like brainwashed at all with this stuff, but they're older. They're 66, 67, so they got vaccinated, but it's funny. I was on the phone with my dad, who just came out of like a hernia surgery today, and he's fine. But we were just talking. I hear my mom in the background. She goes, "Hey, do me a favor." I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Wash your hands in Purell." I went, "No," because I've never done that for 35 years.
Yeah. No.
I'm
No.
like, I wash my hands when I shit. If there's physical dirt on my hands, or if
Yep.
I touch like raw meat or something gross, you know what I'm saying? But like, I don't even wash my hands when I pee. I'm not peeing on my hands.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the limit of washing my, I'm like, I feel like that shit all helps. It built, it's like that Carlin joke from years
Oh
ago.
yeah.
He's like, we grew up playing in raw sewage, and that's why I have a good immune system. It's like, yeah, I grew up next to the Staten Island dump, dude. Like
Yeah.
literally 4 miles from that place, less than. And like in the summertime, you would smell the dump, and it's like, and you grew up with that, and like you grow up like playing next to it, like the runoff of like the rainwater, but it's green, like
Yeah.
like it is what it
Yeah.
is. We're fine.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm kind of the opposite of a germaphobe, but I also, I mean, I'd prefer to be socially acceptable. So, I'm gonna try not to smell too bad when I go out.
Yeah,
But yeah,
showering's different.
yeah, but I'm right there with you. Like I don't worry about things too much. I mean, yeah, if I have to hit if the urinal is not an automatic flush and I got to hit the handle, then yeah, then I'm probably gonna wash my hands after that. You don't know who's been in there and doing what beforehand, but
Well, yeah,
yeah, no,
public bathroom, sure. That's a good one to wash your hands.
yeah,
But my point is like overall, like
yeah, oh, exactly.
it's like, what are you doing? It's like you don't have to constantly, oh, and he's clean. Like we don't live in like a hermetically sealed, what's the word? Fucking
Yeah.
like science fiction room, dude. Like it's not, it's light. Like, it's gonna get everywhere. It doesn't really fucking matter.
Well, that's one of the big concerns that I think that never gets talked about right now is with like kids. They're being masked up, told to be vaccinated, kept away from each other. Well, how do you build a strong, healthy immune system? You get around, you run around in the dirt, roll around with other kids, you pass around the flu, pass around colds, pass around pink eye, pass around, whatever. Before the chickenpox vaccine, it was, I remember getting chickenpox when I was little. It's like you just got whatever you could, you took care of it. um, and the concern here, I mean, yeah, COVID, it was a novel virus. There were a lot of unknowns early on, especially. And, compared to other things we've gone through recently, it does seem to be deadlier. So you don't want to downplay it like all of those, other diseases we've had in the past. But at the same time, if you overreact and go too far, then you end up with, who knows, maybe a generation of kids that have horrible immune systems.
Hmm.
I mean, and that's not to mention the developmental issues of wearing masks and other things. It's just, y- you know, and that's kids. Then you talk about the mental health issues of locking
Right.
adults up in their
Even the
house.
kids up. I mean, like
Yeah,
I would feel like kids are even actually worse being locked up than adults because
yeah,
like that's what the age to go out and explore shit, not be in your fucking room all day with just your parents.
yeah. So at some point, something's got to change. And I, talked about the other day. I said, you know, originally I said this is a red line, a big red line, and Mark was right when he said no, this is the red line. Um, the reason why I say that is because there've been a bunch of other lines that we've crossed all throughout this pandemic. I mean, locking people up in their houses, forcing people to wear masks, shutting down businesses, just a lot of things that have proven statistically not to work, yet we keep going back to them over and over again. And yet here we are again, everybody's testing positive, doesn't matter if you're vaxxed or not. And here we are taking a segment of the population and saying, well, this is your fault. Well, if it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated, then why haven't Pfizer and Moderna released their patents, and so they make a generic vaccine that goes out to all of the third world countries, all the people unvaxxed there, because a lot of these variants are coming from there. Like the Delta came from India. Nobody's vaxxed. Why? Because they can't afford the vaccine. They Delta and Moderna won't release the patents because don't want to lose the revenue. So
Yeah.
you can't blame the unvaccinated when it's just a naked money play to begin with.
Well, that's even the thing with ivermectin, right? It's like 40 cents, like because
Yeah.
the patent ran out like in the 70s, something like that. I forgot when, but it ran out a while ago, and like they can't re-up it. So and that's where they're like, ivermectin's horse paste. Fuck Joe Rogan, and you're like, well, that's because you can't make money off it.
Yeah.
Like that's that simple. I mean, and also like, and Angela McArdle said this the best in her last debate, but I even said it before. I heard her say it, where like, if this virus was truly as deadly as like half the people are making out to be, you wouldn't be out shopping. You'd be in your fucking home scared because everyone's turning into a zombie or whatever the fuck is happening out there. Like, I remember when it first came out, you're like, oh my God, does this kill everybody? They're like, no. And they're like, oh, okay, well, who's the killer? They're like, severely old people. Okay, who else? Oh, if you're like really, really unhealthy and like you're really fat or like you have like cancer or like you already have like a 2.5 coma, and you're like, oh, well, do like healthy people die? They're like, yeah, it's super, super rare. Oh, so what are we doing here? So like, it's like,
Well, I mean, if anything, we have an epidemic in this country of obesity and other things, and I don't believe it's ever necessarily okay to shame or mock somebody over their health or their weight. Yet at the same time, I also don't think it's okay to just say, hey, this is great. Just get all your shots, take all the meds you want, and live as unhealthy a lifestyle as you can. I mean, in fact, for me, I used to take my health fairly seriously. It was working out every day, trying to eat well. Just went through some, personal shit in life, and then COVID hit, and that got out of control. And all of a sudden, I started seeing all these studies about what was your best way to prevent, serious issues from COVID, and it was getting healthy, eating well. I've switched up my diet. I'm eating like 90% meat right now. I'm riding my bike every day, somewhere between 10 and 20 miles. It really it is that overall health that is the biggest issue. I mean, thankfully, I've been blessed throughout my life with good health and no other underlying issues. So why let this part go and put myself more at risk?
dude, I agree. Especially like they're like, they're like, it attacks fat cells, and like if you're heavier, but then they also like come get free McDonald's with your COVID, and you're like, all right, come on, man, like what is this? What is this fucking? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
It's so It's just, again, it's like that. I feel like common sense is gone. It's just fucking gone
It's gone.
now. It's gone. And then like even with the mask stuff, you're just sitting there going, so like this is supposed to like block the deadliest virus of all time if I just put this in front of my fucking face? Because like
Yeah.
this, I mean, especially like people have like long beards and like it's just like hovering over the beard. I'm like, what are we?
Yeah.
It's political theater. It's theater. Like,
Yeah, it is.
and then people be like, doctors wear them during surgery. I'm like, yeah, as the last piece of fucking safety, because they're in a completely fucking, again,
Oh, yeah.
sealed room, completely bacteria free. They scrub for an hour before surgery. There's all these other factors of play to keep that, and that is also mainly so they don't just sneeze right into the like open
Oh, yeah.
wound.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it's for.
Do you want your doctor to be able to spit into your open chest cavity as he's
Right.
giving you a heart transplant?
And these fucking dummies are like, well, if doctors wear them. Yeah, man. Technically, they do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like it's disingenuous to fucking say that and hang your hat on that and not mention all the other stuff I just mentioned about what doctors do for surgery. You know, it's not like doctors are walking in after they're fixing a car with grease in their hands, like, all right, let's crack this rib cage open now. It's like, no, they go through a whole thing. They go through a
Yeah.
whole fucking thing to get to that point. All like the COVID restaurant rules, right? It's like I can have COVID. Okay, now I don't have COVID anymore. Okay, ready? COVID?
Yep.
No COVID.
Yep.
How fucking dumb it. It's like COVID's like, guys, chill. He's eating, and we know the rules. We can't attack them.
Well, no, now it's the same thing with the restaurant bans because it's like, well, you can't catch COVID from an unvaccinated person when you're at Walmart, but
Right.
you sit down in a restaurant. Oh gosh, it's just coming off of it's flowing. You can see the virus particles just coming off, and
Yeah, exactly. And so Donald calls it's faker and gay. You're right. It's and again, it's like you think that'd be common sense. The stand up, sit down part. Stand up, sit down, and then again, people are like, no, we have to double mask, and it's like, okay, yeah, wear 4 masks, wear 7. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, the only place I'll wear a mask now is on the train into Center City because they won't let me. They won't let me on the train.
That's the thing. Is like if I want to fly, I literally do not have a choice.
Yep.
And I have a fake mask, the fake ones that like it's mesh.
Oh yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. I've got one of those too.
And no one stops you because it's like because that's how dumb it is. Like I'm wearing a fake mask right now, and you guys are like, "You're good to go." I'm like, "Thanks, you fucking idiot!" like you fucking idiot. None of this matter.
Yeah.
I mean, again, people like they pull their mask off just to keep drinking and then put it back on. I'm like, yeah, you helped stop COVID, man. You're a hero.
Yep. I did wear a mask today, but that's because I'm up in Maine. It's 18 degrees out there right now. There's a foot of snow on the ground. I took my Saint Bernard out for a hike, and I forgot a scarf. And yeah, it's cold, so I happened to have a mask with me and just threw it on. It helped. I also went through about 10 N95s this summer, but I was wearing them for what you're supposed to wear them for. I was doing construction
Right.
in my basement. I was building the bar. I just removed about a half ton of plaster off the walls in my bedroom. Yeah, I was getting some use out of those N95s.
Yeah. O'Donnell, I said it on the screen, but O'Donnell said again, like 10 years ago, if you told me a cold would have brought society to his knees, I would have laughed. And it's like, I didn't think we'd be where we are now, even. I thought we would have had way more physical pushback. And it's like, oh, we haven't? Oh no. And then you see what goes on in Australia and Canada with the whole fucking the not mandatory camps, but those kids had to escape over barbed wire, and then they caught them, and they're like kids escaped over barbed wire from non-mandatory. It's like, okay, it felt voluntary. Really, that sounds voluntary to you? So
We're chasing them with dogs.
Yeah. Isn't that how they killed Boo Radley in fucking To Kill a Mockingbird when he ran to the prison? They shot him in the back. It's like it's wild.
It's like Shawshank Redemption or something. Yeah. I don't know.
I really thought like we were better as a country, but like I also forget we've been getting like progressive blue-pilled brainwashed and inundated for like the last fucking 50 years also, and that made a bunch of pussies out of a lot of people.
Yeah. I listened to Matt Taibbi's interview with Joe Rogan on the way up here. They just talked, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was so eye-opening just what's gone on with journalism and what's going on now. And Taibbi's pretty far left, yet he's all about freedom, all about
he's
freedom
a rational.
Yeah.
He's one of the last few bastions of like like regular thinking left-leaning person. Because like it's I feel like they're all gone now. It's just like progressives or people who just stay quiet about it. Like you see very few actual moderate liberals anymore, like on TV or anywhere.
Yeah, you've got Taibbi, Greenwald, Brett Weinstein.
Yeah, Eddie Martin's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a few, but it's like Andrew Sullivan. But like a lot of them just get fucking. they get called Nazis too because they're not in the COVID regime, or they're not
Oh yeah,
being like, it's not enough to be anti-racist, what the fuck they say.
anything but left authoritarian these days is Nazi. So
Right, which obviously the biggest irony is they are the Nazis in this.
yeah, it's fascism. It's the marriage of corporations and government. I mean, that's what's going
Which is
on.
literal fascism, and people
Yeah,
get mad when I
yeah.
say that. I'm like, oh, you guys just don't know what things mean. That's a bummer for you.
Yeah, and it's I don't think we're as at risk here of some of those things as maybe say Australia. I tweeted out though the other day with the LPMC Twitter account. I said LPMC Philly Twitter account. Just want to make sure
Yeah.
that's clear. I said the only reason why we don't have these voluntary quarantine camps like Australia does is because we haven't given up our guns.
Right. I said
You
that
know,
too to a lefty recently. They were like, no. I went, no, it is, but go on.
yeah, and it's Europe has a few more guns than Australia does, so they haven't quite gotten there yet. But you know, the Second Amendment is saving us from full craziness right now.
But like, this is what I kind of just said before. I didn't think we'd be at this point.
Yeah.
If it got to that point, I don't know if that would even stop people. Like people would still go with it. Like, that's the thing. Is like, I don't know what the line is for people to be like, you know what, fuck this. Here's my gun. You got to kill me. Like, what is the line for that? Because clearly it's not segregating entire major metropolitan cities. That's not the line.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
so
yeah.
Segregating 67% of the black community, I believe, didn't get the shot.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
That sounds pretty racist to me. Which
Hey,
again,
it sounds like Philly sounds like it's turning into a white supremacist heaven right now.
Yeah. It's racist to ask for ID to vote. But to just operate in civilized society, that's not racist to be able to ask for fucking to go over where you go for something that I'm not even sick from.
Yeah, it's you can't spread COVID if you don't have it. It's just psychosis. Yeah, the word mass psychosis keeps getting thrown around a lot. Brett Weinstein's talked about it. Dr. Peter McCullough had a great description of it when he was on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how did things turn out the way they did. And again, I don't hate making the analogy because all the lefties are just going to get up in arms, but 1930s Germany, the 20s were horrible for Germany. Mass inflation. They're carrying around currency by the wheelbarrows, and they're all suffering. And here comes this charismatic guy who says, this group of people is the problem, and this is how we fix it. And everybody's like, yeah, that's true. Let's do it. And you had a few people, you had a few people that are resisting. You had guys like Dietrich Bonhoeffer resisting. You had the guys that tried to assassinate Hitler resisting. But you had all these institutions just go along. I mean, one of the biggest things that one of Hitler's biggest advantages was he got the church in Germany to follow along. He kind of hoodwinked the church, and they went along. And Germany was a very religious country at that time, and you're starting to see that even now. I mean, months ago, you had a church in, I don't know, it was Ontario or something, and said,
Canada,
but then the Archbishop of Canterbury right now just said, the unvaxxed are immoral.
Yeah, no one else is immoral. Pedophiles that you seem to be no problem with. So suck my dick. I don't care what the fucking priest says. I really don't. When your closet's literally filled with the skulls of children, I don't value your opinion at all. You could suck my ass.
Yeah, I mean, again, why did the rumors about why Bill and Melinda Gates are splitting up, and yet Bill Gates somehow, who is he's not a doctor, he's not an epidemiologist, he doesn't he just has a lot of money, and he's got some ties to some questionable people.
Oh,
and yet he's funding all this shit. He's funding all this shit.
Of course, and that's the thing too. Again, the other, which has been pointed out in droves recently, but like, Rogan's not a doctor. You're right, but Big Bird and fucking SNL and Jimmy Fallon and Bill Gates are. You're right. Jimmy Fallon sucks also, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's terrible.
None of these
Terrible.
guys are funny. Like
No.
and like watching, which is essentially we're watching state propaganda comedy,
Yeah.
which is dog shit.
Yeah.
Surprise, but communism isn't funny, and
Yeah.
neither is
No.
this fucking socialism shit. That like this commie writing, it's so bad. It's so fucking bad. Like, yeah, I'm a comic, sure, and like I'll be, you're not funny. I don't care. You're not coming to my shows if you don't think like, you know what I'm saying. You're not my
Yeah.
supporters, believe it or not. So eat my dick again. But like that's also not funny.
Yeah.
Like watching that fucking. And by the way, as a comic from Staten Island, Pete Davidson sucks too. I want to be the face of Staten Island comedy. Fuck Pete Davidson. He's
Yeah.
not funny. He's not
No.
funny. He was
No.
funny when he was 14 and 15, truly, and then he got not funny as soon as he went on SNL, he just became a fucking weird psycho. But like that skit with him and Big Bird, and you're watching this, and you're just like, oh, they just told you what to write.
Yeah. I won't even watch that shit anymore. I mean, I
just
used to I
watched
used
what
to
I
watch
could.
it. I used to watch it when I was in college. Andy Sandberg had some great stuff back in the late 2000s. But over the past, I don't know. It seems like ever since Bush left office, it's just gone downhill. Like there's just nothing, because you couldn't make fun of Obama, and then yeah, then there was Trump, and it was just deranged. There's plenty to make fun of Trump about, but most of it was just about stuff that wasn't funny. And now you've
Yeah,
got
well, like if that's, I mean, yeah, if you want to talk about that, I mean, obviously you mentioned before the release in the White House being like
yeah,
you're gonna have a long dark like what's it, Game of Thrones,
yeah,
a long dark winter, like fucking what are you talking about? But if that and all I could think of, if that same exact worded thing was released under Trump, every single fucking headline would be like, the American president wished death of his American
yeah,
citizens, and
yeah,
he hates this group, and it's like just again, if you don't see the hypocrisy, and this is not a defense of Trump, fuck him, right? Who gives
yeah,
a shit?
yeah,
It's just obvious, blatant hypocrisy, which I'm against no matter what, right?
yep,
Consistency. It's about
yep,
being fucking consistent. It's
yep.
like the media's either gonna be like that's evil or it's not, and clearly they chose their fucking their side years ago.
Yeah, and the pro mandate crowd. I mean, it's full of hypocrisy. We talked about the the opioids earlier, the racism. If you're marching with BLM last summer over systemic racism, yet I don't know how true the number is now, but Maj Touré was quoting something like 11% of the African American community in Philly was fully vaxxed. And if you marched with BLM last summer, yet right now you're saying, yeah, we've got to keep the unvaccinated out. Well, guess what? You're going to keep all the African Americans out. And like I said earlier, it's going to
Yeah.
be a white supremacist heaven. If a white supremacist is double vaxxed or has a good fake card, gosh, they're going to love taking vacations here to Philly.
Yeah, well, because don't forget, those black people, they're white supremacists also. If you didn't get the shot, you're also a white supremacist.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the rule I was told by all the blue check marks and journalists. I was told that you're racist no matter what you look like if you don't get the jab. Also, Asians apparently are white people now too. I don't know if you knew
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But that's
No, I knew
also
that.
that was cool. I didn't know we broadened our horizons to a billion people. That's cool. A billion plus
Yeah,
people. It's wild how they will fit anything, they will turn anything just to fit their fucking psychotic narrative.
yeah. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's that it purposely doesn't make sense, and
Right.
that's the whole point. It's just whatever they can say to make it fit their narrative, and you know the rest of us be damned. And that's why, I mean, at this point it's like we got to speak up. For far too long the opposition has just been, Michael Malice will say, conservatism is a progressivism driving the speed limit, or conservatives in Congress. Well, the lead conservative in Congress looks like a turtle. What can you expect from the lead conservative that looks like a turtle to be anything but just a speed bump? So,
Right.
um, no, I obviously I don't agree with how a lot of things went down last summer, I think the black community has a lot of reasons to be upset with the police. You
Everyone
know,
does.
yeah, yeah. Michael Malice has turned me into an abolish the police kind of guy, but more so just from a liberty perspective and thinking that the government monopoly on policing is what the
Well,
issue is.
have you seen the NYPD videos in the last few days?
I have,
People
yeah,
getting arrested for the. I mean, again, now I think the loophole that the police are saying is like we're actually arresting them for trespass,
yep,
not
yep.
vax pat, and you're like, okay, it doesn't matter. We all know what you're doing. You could call it whatever you want, but again, not to keep comparing this to fucking the Nazis and shit, because it's like easy, but they did the same shit. Just a different message, right? They're like, no, we're doing this. We're not really taking them on trains and putting them to their death. We're just relocating them. It's just a different version of that. Now it's like we're not arresting them for vaccine passports. That's crazy.
Well,
We're just
let's
arresting them for trespass. It's like, oh, okay.
So let's switch up the analogy. We can't talk about the Nazis. Well, one thing that we don't talk about too much here in the U.S. is the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia.
Mm, yeah.
I got lucky enough about 10 years ago to travel to Phnom Penh. I was there actually on my 23rd birthday, and it happened to be it's 40 something anniversary or late 30th anniversary of the Khmer Rouge taking over Phnom Penh. And honestly, in some ways, I think that is way more relatable than the Nazis, because the Nazis was very much a racial thing. It's like we're going to purify the human
Right.
race. Um, the Khmer Rouge was a little bit more ideological, where they wanted to go back to this agrarian society, this simple, farming society, kind of go back to serfdom. They were killing doctors. Um, they were killing people with a college degree. It was just they were killing journalists. It was just
Right, it was
it was very
anybody
much
with, glasses, right? They fucking
yeah.
wiped out too. Yeah, it was any intellectual they perceived to be intellectual, which that's shows you how not smart they were. These are fake
Anyone who
glasses
went
right now.
against the
These are blue
narrative.
light glasses.
Yeah, yeah.
How would you get killed? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
anyone who went against the narrative, and not that you're seeing that physically happen today, but you're seeing respectable scientists, respectable doctors like Brett Weinstein, Pierre Corey, Robert Malone, Peter McCullough. You're seeing these people speak out, and they just get trashed. I mean, and it's at least in terms of the mainstream, they're suffering like this, kind of cultural death. But thankfully, one of the greatest things that has come out of the internet and social media is the fact that the things are way more decentralized than they used to be. So, we're able to talk on this podcast. Tim Pool's able to get information out on his, Weinstein on his. It's like at least there is like this big groundswell of things going on that people can go get the information. And people are fleeing the media. People are seeing the bullshit that's going on with CNN. They're seeing the lies. I mean, how many people got red pilled over the Kyle Rittenhouse case? Um,
Yeah, when you found out when I found out how many people thought he shot black people,
yeah,
you're like, "What?"
yeah,
He shot a pedophile. Who gives a fuck? Like, move on. Move on with your
yeah.
day.
But I mean, one of the reasons why I've spoken out and kind of yelled as much as I have since day one, it was the day things shut down where I was saying I don't think this is right. I can understand if we take a week or two, but it's got to end then. And then I'm a data guy. I'm a stats guy. I have a degree in statistics, and I'm looking at the data 3 or 4 days into lockdowns, and like this doesn't make sense. And but the biggest reason is because I've stood in the S21 prison there in Phnom Penh, where they it was an elementary school and they turned it into a prison, and every single political prisoner went in and through that school, and I think there were 7 survivors. Every all but 7 that went in and died. And I mean, I remember standing in this. It was at one time a classroom. I'm standing in this classroom, and there's this bed with like a chain hook to it, like just a bed frame, metal bed frame, and there's like dirt, like brown, like thick brown dirt on the ground, and I look up, and to the left of me there's a picture on the wall, and the bed frame and the chain are in the same exact spot, and this is a picture from when it was liberated, and there's a body right there where this big thick brown dirt is laying, and I realize that's not dirt, that's blood stains.
Mm,
35 years later, and I'm standing on it, and this isn't like an American museum, this isn't
right.
like a European museum, this is something like I could have went and just sat down on the bed frame if I wanted to. Like, it's just, you walk in there, and I'm literally standing on, the stained blood of somebody who was massacred just for, not wanting this agrarian society. And, not, I don't ever want to say that's where all of this is heading. I don't want to say that, because you just don't know. There are so many different paths. I mean, we could go down an authoritarian route that doesn't look like that. We can go down an authoritarian route that does. We can go down non-authoritarian routes. But, you know, it's funny. The Auschwitz Museum the other day was complaining about comparing this to the Holocaust, and the Auschwitz Museum and Dave Smith were going back and forth, I think. And somebody brought up an old tweet of theirs that, you know, Auschwitz didn't begin at the gates of Auschwitz. It
Exactly.
began in the 1930s when they were demonizing the Jews. They were saying the Jews were, disease killers, and it's got a special place for me too. I'm not Jewish, but I have heavily Polish influence, heavily Slavic influence. The Polish people were slaughtered by the Nazis, and they've been, slaughtered by the Russians. They've been slaughtered by just about everybody, and it just always starts with this segregation. And so, regardless of whether or not that's happening today, this is the red line that you have to stop it at, so that there's no chance of it going that direction.
Yeah, that's that. I'm sick and fucking tired. I'm sure you and everybody listening is very tired of pe the brainwash calling us conspiracy theorists. For for everything I said in March of 2020
Oh
has
yeah,
come true.
yeah,
Every single fucking thing I said. Lockdowns are more than lockdowns. This is gonna go into fucking passport system. I didn't call it a passport system back then, but I
yeah,
called it like some sort of like paper showing system.
yeah,
All this, and they're like, no, no. And I'm like, I don't trust that fucking thing either. What's in that fucking vial? I gotta be careful what I say. I don't trust what's in
yeah,
those fucking vials. And they're like, conspiracy theorists. I go, great, man, then take it.
yeah,
Like, I don't want to. I
yeah.
never. By the way, again, this isn't even about like necessarily this disease.
No,
It's like I never gotten the flu shot either, and I've gotten the flu I think one time in my life. Like,
I,
and
yeah,
by the way, I'm here, and I didn't go
yeah,
to the doctor when I got the flu either. I just laid in bed and I got better. And by the way, I felt like I was gonna die. When I got the
yeah,
flu that one time, I was like, "Oh, this is it." It was on the Giants' second Super Bowl against the Patriots, 2012. I remember that. I was lying in bed. I was lying on my couch because I'm a Giants fan. I was like, "We're gonna win the Super Bowl again," like dying. But
yeah,
like, and then still after I got that, I didn't go, well, next year I'm getting the flu shot. No, I'm like, now my body fought it off. I've never gotten it after that. I've never gotten it before that. Why would I? I do this with a lot of people like, oh, would you get the smallpox vaccine? I'm like, that's not the same fucking virus, dude.
yeah. No, and
It's
no,
not the
I,
same
I, I
thing.
didn't get I didn't get the smallpox vaccine. They stopped giving that out in 1970s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
no, I didn't get the smallpox vaccine. Yeah, no, it's not the same thing. I mean, none of this is the same thing, and there's a reason why there has never been before a vaccine for a coronavirus, because then they haven't been able to get it done.
Right.
And the mRNA technology, it's brilliant. The ideas are brilliant. I think it's very promising, but there's also a reason why they've spent 30 years researching it and they haven't released anything on it yet, because it just doesn't seem ready, and it doesn't seem like this whole spike protein application was ready. It works a little bit for some people. There's it can have some benefit, but at the end of the day, it's like you have to do a personal decision of a risk benefit analysis. Like, is it worth it to take this for the risks that I am at COVID? And for me, it's no. Like,
Right.
it's not really even close. So yeah, it's just nuts. And it was funny listening to Rogan and Taibbi on the way up here. They're like, well, just imagine, if Trump had won re-election, um, imagine where we would be on therapeutics with COVID, because nobody would be taking this vaccine. Nobody. They were all saying beforehand, I'm not going to take the Trump vaccine. I'll be caught dead. I don't know what's going to happen to me. There's no, um, there's no long-term trials. One of the best Twitter accounts to follow right now is, what is that? The Defiant L's or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah, they're
where
great.
they're
Yeah,
posting all the
yeah.
old like before and after tweets, and it's like,
But that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. There's zero. They're so disconnected from themselves. They don't
yeah,
understand. Like they're just spewing bullshit hypocrisy. It's wild. Um. So now obviously you guys over in Philly are like, well, fuck this. We got to do something about this. So you're obviously starting sit-ins, and I believe, and like, or you're gonna start to. I know it's Don't Tread on Philly. Mark heard it
yeah,
before. Don't tread on Philly.com. So if
yep,
you want to just go into that a little bit, so people get an idea of where
yeah.
actually
S-
get
So,
some info on it.
yeah, so I'm the Philadelphia organizer for the LP Mises Caucus, and you know, I I just started, and this all just went nuts right at the same time. Started the Twitter account, and I think the main thing, we just got together and said, well, what can we do? We want to build freedom culture in the city. We want to see liberty in the city, regardless of the coronavirus. And all of a sudden, these mandates come down, and we said we have to do something. I think that week we saw some big protests in Belfast. Things were starting to happen in New York. We said we can't, all of us who want freedom, all of us who believe in liberty that are in Philly, we can't just take this lying down. We have to do something. And so we got together one night, myself, Mark Bazzacco, and a few others, and we just started talking. What can we do? Um, I had started kind of the tagline "Don't Tread on Philly" for the Twitter account about a week before, because I just thought it sounded kind of cool. And we said, well, why don't we get a domain? Let's buy that. Let's start thinking about it. When can we protest? When can we do some outreach? Um, one of the organizers said, hey, what about the Mummers Parade? They're coming back this year, and it's a big deal. Lots of people out. Like, why don't we go down there and just talk to people and try to educate them, protest, make some noise. Obviously we might be very feisty libertarians, but we are libertarians, so we tend to be very peaceful people. We don't want to violate that non-aggression principle at all. And so, um, yeah, we want to go down there and make some noise. We want to see thousands of people down there. We want to reach people. We want to talk to the people on the streets, on the sidewalks, and for those who are against this, we want to let them know they're not alone, because everybody that I talk to, they seem to agree that 80% of the city is just going along. They're just doing what they're told. A lot of them are uncomfortable with this. Um, and it's like 10% that are just loud, obnoxious, and they're running things. And so we want to let the people know in that 80% that, hey, you're not alone. The great philosopher and rapper Zuby made a tweet about a week or two ago where he said something like, it's a lion's job to go and wake other lions, not sheep. So we want to go find the other lions in the city, wake them up, let them know they're not alone, and join together and fight back. We want to change the culture. We want to see people be free. We don't want to see the racism, the discrimination. So all of this is everything we're doing with don'ttreadonphilly.com is going out and reaching people. I know Mark's been out on the streets passing out pamphlets. I think this Sunday we're going to do a outreach. A lot of people are going to be a lot of people are going to be shopping in the center city district, returning unwanted Christmas gifts and that sort of thing. So we have a opportunity to just talk with people, reach out, explain our side of things. There's a home Eagles game. I think we might head down there and just talk with a bunch of fans and
That's
see
not
what's
smart, but
happening.
go on.
I just won't. I'll just the last time I went down there, I was dressed in Vikings gear, and it just didn't go well. So I'm
Hey,
gonna
again,
be very neutral.
I'm a New Yorker. I'm a Giants fan. I'll never wear Giant shit to Philly. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we're just gonna do some outreach. I think throughout the week, next week, we'll be going out and just talking to people around the city, and then hopefully, to kick things off, we're gonna protest on January 1st at the Mummers Parade. Hopefully, get a couple of Mummers groups there with us that'll be supportive. I know they always have some issues with the city, so hopefully we can drum up some support there. And really, it's just to get the word out, get the noise out, build a culture of freedom, build a culture of resisting against this nonsense. And then, yeah, if push comes to shove, if we're going to be doing some sit-ins and some other things, New York's doing great things with that. I recently got some contact information for some of the people who've been doing things in New York, and we want to band together. We want all the freedom people across the country to band together and fight this shit, because it's just garbage. And yeah, I'm fucking sick of it. And if the reason why I'm out here and outspoken is just because, well, if I don't do it, who's going to? I'm sure there'd be somebody else, but there's way too many people probably just sitting there and saying, I don't agree with this, but somebody else will make a stink. Um, and I don't want to be that person here. This is a red line that's been crossed that I can't I can't personally let slide.
That's fair. How can people like help if they want to like participate in like the walk in or whatever the sit-ins, protest, general? Like, is there like social media besides website or anything?
Yeah, so well, the main thing is the website. If you go to don'ttreadonphilly.com, there are several links. There's a link to our Twitter account. I'm trying to take a little slight break from that with the holidays. Um, I've tweeted something like 1,500 times in the past, I don't know, 10 days. It's kind of ridiculous. But you can reach out to us through there. The website has a link to a form that you can give your name, email address. If you want to give a phone number, it's not required. You can sign up there, and we generally will send out some mass emails. I sent one out the other day, got to send one out tonight. Sometimes they do go to your spam folder, so I'd check through that. But anybody that's interested and has any ideas, wants to really get involved, go hit the website, click the link to our Facebook group. We have that as well. There's a link on the website for that. Click any of those links. Go to the forum, go to the Twitter account, DM me, join the Facebook group, post on the wall. We have several different avenues. I think we're also doing a little bit of fundraising for some of the flyers. I think we've got somebody connected with the Mises who's printing off about 5,000 flyers for us. So we've got to do a little bit of fundraising for that. And one of my main tasks tonight is going to be getting the link up there for that as well. So yeah, hit the website, go to any one of those links, and whichever one's most convenient for you, Twitter, Facebook, email, form, connect with us, let us know your ideas, and yeah, just come out and join us. We want, our dream is our dream is to have thousands of people out there marching around City Hall, just like all the cities in Europe are having. Just like Vienna, just like Belfast, just like what's been going on in Austria. We want these big, just non-violent, uh, you know, just masses of people coming together and making our voices heard and standing for freedom.
No, it's awesome. Guys, if you're by Philly, around Philly, whatever the fuck, and you care about this, I suggest you go and sign up with them and figure it out. And we all got to stop this shit together, because that's what it's going to take. Mass non-compliance and mass fuck you to the government.
Yeah,
That's literally it.
It's a cancer. I mean, one of the things I've been trying to say is I'm turning it around on them. Stop the spread. Stop the spread of this cancer. Stop the spread of the gangrene. You got to cut it off here, or else it keeps going. Governments don't give back power willingly. So, um, yeah, stop the spread. Stop the
Yeah,
spread of
stop
tyranny.
the spread of tyranny. Torrin, thanks so much for coming on, dude. Again, everybody go out
Yeah,
there, support, go follow all the social media and stuff. And go sign up. Go fucking stop this tyranny, guys. Torin, thanks for coming on, dude. It was
Thanks, man.
awesome. Good talk. And hopefully we stop all this shit. Guys, I'll be back. I don't know fucking when. Soon. I don't know. Love everybody. Later.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. Find Adam on social media, Twitter and IG at Adam Nutter, or Facebook and TikTok at Adam Nutter Comedy. And for podcasts and merch, check out www.droptent.com. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.
This has been a Drop Tent Media production.